Hey friends, this is Mr. Medina, and I thought I'd post one more video regarding Flipgrid since that's something we're going to jump right into this week. And I'm really excited about it because Flipgrid is something, if you haven't worked on it, that's easy to use and you can pretty much work at your own pace. There will be times that we work on things in class together, maybe even with groups, and you'll be using it. But there will be other times when I'll have a due date, and so you'll have, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, whatever the assignment calls for, to do it at your own speed. And if you record something you don't like, maybe you get an idea to enhance it, make it a little bit better, then you can re-record. So I like to offer time for that. So a couple things to note. Number one, I will have the Flipgrid codes in your Google Classroom. So for period one, it's flipgrid.com/Medina PVMS1. And really, it's the same code for every class except that number at the end. So period one would be a one, period two would be a two, et cetera, et cetera. And then when you go to the site itself, it's just going to ask you, what's the code? And so you're going to say Medina PVMS and then whatever period one, period two, period four, five, or six. Okay. And then from there, what it's going to do is it's going to take you to basically where our discussion begins. And so you'll have, your group, you'll be in your correct group. And right now there aren't any topics populated, but what's going to happen is you're going to find some topics, and I'm just going to use some from the spring for an example. So this one was, my students found a poem page, part of a book that they really enjoyed. They wrote me a paragraph and they created a Google Doc. They turned it in Google Classroom so that when I watched their recording for step 3, they recorded themselves reading what the text said and then what they wrote. And so what they wrote for me matched. And so just as an example of something that I really like about Flipgrid, it's this. So here we have Kayla. I'm gonna have to mute her because she's kind of loud in my ear. She told me about what she was reading, and she read it. It was a pretty long excerpt, and then she commented on it. Okay, now she took. I think I allotted maybe 3 minutes as the length was the maximum, but the shortest was 30 seconds. So then I went down to Charlotte's, and the reason I'm down here at Charlotte's is not only because was hers only 30 seconds. She used an emoji for her face. And you can see from my timeline, some other kids took advantage of that. Juan had an emoji, Charlotte, like we saw. And then we had Miranda used her face, Gavin used his face, Nathan used a logo, Alina used an emoji. So it just depends on your comfort level. Of course, I'd love to see everyone's face, but sometimes we get a little bit shy. So that's all I wanted to say is be aware of Flipgrid, be aware of your code, and definitely know that you're in a safe space. It's not a popularity contest. There's nothing to be embarrassed about whatsoever. And actually, our first class assignment is going to be a Flipgrid assignment, which you'll find out about on Thursday. But from there, it really will get easier and easier. And a lot of times, the other thing that I'll do, let me go to a different task here, is I will give you an example video. So here I started recording one, and not only did I explain what needed to be done, I did it myself. So, and I no longer have that beard. That was a quarantine beard that I grew. So anyways, nothing to stress you out about, but just if you want to, dink around on Flipgrid, play around and kind of explore what other students have done, maybe that might be a good idea. But if not, don't worry about it. Get plenty of rest, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.